for each other.
They really are, and it's time to figure out what the next battleground is going to be in this series. We said it's tied up. We're not tied up, but 2-3 right now favoring King's Gambit, as we do see another win on the board. No Tomorrow has selected Infernal Shrines for our 6th game of the series.
All right, Infernal Shrines. Lots of fighting, you know, lots of contest over that objective, kind of similar to the way that Volskaya plays out. We've seen some emphasis on Gul'dan so far in the series. This is one of, I would say, his better maps, so maybe we see him again here, but this is one where the objective, you know, it ends up pushing down a single lane, so you have a lot of like single lane emphasis heroes as well. But my biggest thing is just I want to see how this first shrine plays out. That's always it for me.
Just thinking about the warriors that are present on this map too, like Blaze, Sonya, Diablo, all so ridiculously valuable on this map. And we've seen a lot of the early picks be focused around the Garrosh. And not that Garrosh is going to be bad here or anything, but he does lose some value when it comes to his toss because you have these skeletal defenders that are constantly popping. They could then become the target that you accidentally throw, the way that it works. So it really does change that dynamic with our warrior battle that we're seeing here a bit.
Yep, it basically puts Garrosh into a situation where if you're not finding picks, then the hero in general becomes less effective. Yep. You know, because sometimes, or traditionally, you see heroes that are, the warriors at least, that are a little bit more effective on the shrine here, being more prominent on this map. You know, Johanna shows up a lot on this map as well.
That's true.
But yeah, to me, it's going to be how these warrior picks end up coming through. Like that's going to be huge in this draft.
And like, that's just really interesting when it comes to the early stages of the draft. Like, is it just going to be like Maiev Medivh in the bans? Probably, right? That seems like fairly honest, right? And then you got Stukov and Malfurion as the likely supports that will be picked in the first half of the rotation. But then when do you choose to prioritize your big assassins, right? We know King's Gambit, they want to bust out Jaina. She can do really good things on this map, that's for sure. Are you willing to say, hey, we're not going to grab Malfurion, or we're not going to grab Diablo or Dahaka, or whatever you want, and we're going to go for Jaina first? We might see that, and I just can't wait, man. Here we go.
Let's go. King's Gambit, they need to find one more win to buy themselves a ticket. That's it. But no tomorrow. You know, they've got 2 games. They got a couple more to go.
Buy themselves a ticket. Oh, it's so much more than that. The salary, the right to be a top 8 team in North America. This is something that, you know, we've seen eToby and eKevin for the eBros for how many years? Right, Jaina ban. Okay, see, and this is Maiev. Yep. Insta pick.
Oh boy, we saw how this played out earlier on Towers of Doom. You know, it looked real good for King's Gambit, but I actually think that the Jaina ban here is pretty wise. You know, eKevin just dominates on that hero.
I think they have to like pick Diablo so that they don't have it against them. If you give Diesel Diablo with that Maiev again, they look so good with it.
It's
on
terrifying.
Towers.
It really is. And then they had the Uther too for D-Shield. Yeah. You don't have to elect to choose the Uther if you're King's Gambit. Given this map, you can choose a different support, but still, no tomorrow. They're like, okay, what are we going to do against this Maiev?
When you commit to banning the Jaina, you understand that Maiev is coming, right? You know this. The chances is like 90%, but Sonya for that early pick, this is a fantastic map for her. Are you surprised to see Sonya over Blaze considering what she brings to the table and what Blaze brings to the table?
I think they do pretty similar stuff. But this Sonya, she's actually going to be able to step in and do damage to Maiev as opposed to Blaze, who's just there to kind of
throw a bunker out.
Exactly, and be a body sort of thing. Yeah. So I think that the Sonya can bode better given these circumstances, and King's Gambit do too. But who's the hero that can just absolutely dominate Sonya? It's a Diablo, as you said. Right. And then the second ban phase opens up, and then you know, King's Gambit have an ability to choke out one of those warriors. It could be the Garrosh, it could be the Johanna. So I think King's Gambit are still in an excellent space here, and they pick up the Diablo. I think this is fantastic. Greymane to follow it up. So not only do you have to deal with the Maiev, you have to deal with the Greymane too.
And this gives them that, you know, clear that they want. It gives them a lot of big power for that, you know, again, the Curse Bullet, if they want to just blow up one of the warriors. Fantastic. We do see Stukov end up getting banned out here, and then Garrosh made it this far out. We mentioned the reasons why. Doesn't mean that he's not good on this map, just means he's a lot different than the other maps. That's going to be a snap. ETC Hanzo, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts first on the Garrosh ban was, okay, so they're just willing to play against a Johanna when you have the Greymane, you know, a heavily auto attack based hero, but instead they instantly lock No Tomorrow, this ETC, and Hanzo. So the draft has played out differently than I kind of envisioned in my head.
Yeah, I agree.
And this can't be a stage dive because Sonya isn't really able to step up as that solo frontliner. You know, it could be, but it's less likely. And I like the Hanzo. The Hanzo is good. You just got to be cautious of the tethers from Maiev and, of course, the shadow charges from Diablo.
Yeah, they don't have as much of a burden to worry about the Hanzo compared to like the Gul'dan that we saw in the earlier series. Hanzo also brings a lot of the clear that they want to have and the pressure and the safe poke around the shrines, and of course gives you the vision with his Sonic Arrow. Last 2 picks here, a few seconds left for King's Gambit. They need support. I think I'd go with it better still. They do Rhaegar. Just because the cleanse, you think?
No, because of the Gundam suit. Yeah, no, but yeah, I think that, yeah, absolutely. Because of the cleanse, and also if Diablo's able to step up on the shrine, you've got the lightning shield. It really helps to kind of secure those. But that last pick, Tassadar, Tass, Hanzo, Sonya, Malfurion, etc. This is a composition that's actually quite difficult to deal with. Yeah. So much sustain. You got the Kala's armor, not me, but you know what I'm saying. So I like the Tassadar pick, and lots of wave clear as well.
Yeah, I mean, their vision is absolutely in their favor when it comes to some of those like party bushing that just pretty much isn't a thing versus Tass and Hanzo on the same team. It's just not going to happen. But it's a very different style game so far, right? You know, you expected the Johanna, it's a little bit more standard, but it looks like they want to have a little bit more actual engage themselves. Yeah, they're saying we are sick of letting them bring the fight to us, so we want to bring the fight to them. That's what the ETC over Johanna says to me, at least.
Me too. Yep, absolutely it. And also, ETC is one of those heroes that can actually step up onto the shrine and try at least to stop, you know, heroes pushing in. Johanna, of course, does the same thing, but a little bit more aggressive capabilities, as you mentioned, from ETC over the Johanna. So I think it absolutely does satisfy their kind of win condition.
It's also good for the counter of Diablo. Diablo's going to be looking for shadow charges onto Sonya, as we mentioned, and then ETC power slides in W's to get her out, right? That'll be a very common interaction between these teams if Diablo's the one to, I guess, move first. What is it? What's the first move called in chess?
I don't know.
First move, probably.
Yeah. It's our move, Yugi.
We're like we're gonna make some great chess puns because they're called King's Gambit. We got checkmate, and that's my knowledge of chess. But guys, it is time to roll into the 6th game of the series here on Infernal Shrines. Right now, we finally have another game in the pockets of No Tomorrow. We'll see if they can do it again as they are here on the blue hand side. Casanova is there on that Tassadar. We got Jay Shute, of course. He's going to be on the Hanzo. Tom's playing support on Malfurion. We got Jin rocking our ETC. And Equinox will round up the team on that Sonya.
On the right in red is King's Gambit. Ladies and gentlemen, we got E-Toby on Rhaegar, E-Kevin on Greymane, Zergling playing the Blaze, Droplets on Maiev, and Diablo is being played by Diesel.
So that's something that I love to watch, right? Diesel loves to be able to pull the trigger, force the fight, make it happen. We saw in the game earlier where they had like Hanzo for the arrow, they had Maiev to be able to tether after the shadow charge flip, and this is similar, but they do have less CC. Early game, Rhaegar, you know, he is building for the totem, and when you get Earthgrasp later to pair with Colossal Totem, it definitely gives your team a lot of crowd control. Already finding that shadow charge onto Equinox, but the tether not going to be on Sonya in that situation.
So we're seeing the Q build from Hanzo this game, which is actually kind of weird to me. Target practice, so needs to hit Qs onto enemy heroes, and then after that quest is completed, gets an extra 100 damage. But it's, hey, you get some, yeah.
I think this is 100% like PTSD from his Gul'dan game, where he kept getting shadow charged and kept getting pressured, and he just wants to be able to apply constant safe pressure without being at risk.
Thing is, against this Diablo, against this Maiev, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So this engage is going to happen for King's Gambit.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's true. It's true. It is definitely not a common build, though, to see, you know, just the additional range there on the Q and the impact from it. Okay. E-Kevin's going to grab the first neutral camp, a very nice early pickup for them. The wolf pack of Rhaegar and Greymane very effective at doing that.
Lots of wave control for King's Gambit. No Tomorrow effectively rotating between mid and bottom with their Hanzo, waiting for that level 4, waiting for those explosive arrows to come through to increase the wave clear from No Tomorrow. Diesel looking for engagement onto Casanova, but pushes him over the wall, and now Jin is here for the power slide. Diesel trying to escape, and a lot of damage going out over to him. Itobi does not have the peel, but Droplets here to stop the engage. Excellent bind.
Oh, the Ancient Spear is going to be there to seal the deal from Equinox, and that's going to allow him to grab this aggressive camp. But the Go Boys in the bottom lane actually get some good value, so that will keep the experience very even.
Top lane being pushed in for King's Gambit too. Let's see if Maiev can stop the rotation, and look at it. Sonya goes on the right-hand side, but might get found here. Droplets trying to get the bind, and does find it. There's the jet propulsion too.
All right, so the damage attempted, but the lockdown not there. Equinox Ancient Spearing to the minion wave and getting back home. Will be able to self-sustain or tap the well, whichever he chooses. We do see the Night Camp, or the Fallen Shaman Camp, excuse me, being picked up in the top right half by the Wolfpack once more. And it looks like Sonya will not be attempting a Fallen Shaman Camp. Do you think that was dissuaded by the gank attempt earlier, or just they weren't going to do it?
It was both. They had pushed in top lane, so Sonya didn't have the luxury to go and start the Fallen Shaman Camp because she would have lost all of that experience. Already losing, I think, 4 minions it was, and just picking up the last 3. But so she just wasn't willing to make that trade, and that was a nice job by King's Gambit stopping that rotation top.
That's a big deal. That's if this is a longer phase, which it likely won't be considering the way these compositions work. Top lane will become a big asset here for the side of King's Gambit with the Fallen Shaman Camp. But they are now just getting to the point a little bit late. Almost 20 have been picked up here on the side. We have that Flames going down, the Fires, and the Umbra pulling Jay Shrite deep into the fight, but he's now safe behind the wall, getting heals from Malfurion. We do see the collection is still way ahead for the side of No Tomorrow, and unless there are kills on the side of King's Gambit, this will be their Punisher to lose. But Jin, caught by the Emerald, pulled in, and the damage not enough. Power slide away.
Equinox just completely healthy, though, using the Whirlwind to stop the advance of King's Gambit, but Zergling finding the engagement. There's the flip, trying to get damage onto Equinox, but he's so healthy, and now Droplets is in a lot of trouble.
Power slide is too much. Moonfire in there, and the last hit from Sonya. Picking up the kill. Healing Tome has been dropped, but that is going to be just about the end of the phase. 36-36, but it will be confirmed here on the side of No Tomorrow. Fallen Shaman, like we said, are going to be an issue. Someone has to rotate immediately. Blaze going to try to dismount Sonya. Maybe? No.
King's Gambit had such heavy emphasis on heroes that weren't Sonya. She was whirlwinding in the shrine almost that entire time. I really do think that if King's Gambit just commit their resources onto Sonya, they'll have a higher likelihood at securing a kill there. But No Tomorrow played that one so well, and Jin with the massive power slide nearing the end of that fight to really close things out. Get the first Arcane Punisher, but look at the value of the Fallen Shaman Camp top.
Yeah, it's done
as
more
valuable.
Yeah, done, honestly, a little bit more damage. And yes, Equinox is getting the benefit of there is a huge wave of minions there, so it's a lot of experience. But that is actually the only reason why you see the XP deficit. Damage-wise, structurally, pretty much the same. The huge surge of XP there from Sonya, that's value.
Exactly, a little bit of an advantage in terms of kills too, but Jin getting comboed by Diesel, Droplets throwing out the Spirit of Vengeance just to kind of flex on their opponents there. And here comes both solo laners as well. Is this a 5-person collapse for this bottom camp?
Diesel is always going to be willing to dive in onto the CTC, especially, pinning him against the wall, but just too much damage onto Zergling and Droplets to consider fighting over it. The risk reward not there.
No Tomorrow end up getting this camp. They have a vision of King's Gambit bottom side, so Jin able to step up into the enemy bush here. They take a Khazra camp, and so far No Tomorrow are just absolutely commanding these camps.
Maev's got to be careful. She is hiding right now, but Tass, can pop an Oracle, and if the rotation all went mid, he was fairly far forward. Of course, Maev is quite slippery. Sonya now considering that Fallen Shaman camp for herself. Will be starting that. Nope, going for the defense of the top lane.
Still, experience advantage on the side of No Tomorrow. Sonya represented top, going to likely push another wave out. Next objective will be spawning top too, so the mercenary control on the bottom side of the map is pretty important. The Fallen Shaman camp for No Tomorrow, not going to get as much value. Yes, it gives you the lane dominance in the top side of the map, but it's certainly not the same as how King's Gambit had their Fallen Shaman camp going top during like a more mid-bottom side objective.
I love this call. They are looking to invade, even though they don't have level 10. But Blaze actually backed away. I thought he was going to be there to slow down the rotations, dismount the enemy team in that forward position. And without doing that, this is going to be in ample time. Level 10 has been grabbed. The camp has been stolen, but Diablo is simply too deep here. There's no place like home, and he's not getting there. And down he goes. Is that worth without 10? I don't know.
I don't know if that is. I don't think that is at all. Yeah, not spending his souls though, so that is worth mentioning.
That is,
you know, only sitting around the 60 souls mark, and Diablo will be up for the objective. Level 10's here as well, but here comes No Tomorrow. They're kind of, you know, considering the idea of invading as well, but control over the camps on the bottom side, as I said, I actually think is much more important. So if No Tomorrow are able to clean up this bottom wave and then pick up their Kaiser camp, they could be in a good space. But Zergling getting engaged on.
Has to drop the bunker. Now there is no arrow here, and actually the jet propulsion getting away. Thompson not able to step in place there as he stopped the Moonfire. No body blocks. So good usage of the bunker, and Jeshurte probably almost has the Dragon Arrow back.
The jet propulsion to me was fantastic. You know, he threaded the needle with that one, because as you said, Thompson very close to being the person that stops the jet propulsion from
which would have been lights out
safety.
For sure, yeah.
Here we go, 10's here for King's Gambit. Likely going to see a big team fight here. You know, we got the Warden's Cage, APOC on the other side. Big things to note, Dragon's Arrow, Twilight Dream, and that Mosh Pit. So let's pay attention to Jin, see if he can find a big one.
Yeah, no bunker to save them in this moment. Equinox does not actually get interrupted here. The Ancient Spear considered, but right now just working on the race, very even, 11 or 12 to 12 basically. As Equinox is just spinning. They drop the APOC, and they don't really get anything from it, but Equinox onto Droplets, looking for the damage. Poison Spear doing some big numbers. Blaze is kind of trapped in there. The Roots forcing his pathing to be slow. He's doing what he can onto Jeshurte, but it's just not enough pressure from Blaze alone. Droplets has to tap the well. Good jet propulsion going forward from Zergling, but needs to get away from this power slide. Could be disastrous for him. The chain heal comes through, but that's just the flames trickling and keeping alive. He actually used the jet propulsion to go in, but Zergling just drawing this out. Now Equinox is secluded. That's Sonya. Hard target to kill. Roots onto Diablo. Just is such a clean fight where they can't quite find a target to focus, and the split pressure from No Tomorrow is too much.
King's Gambit, it all boiled down to that Apocalypse. You know, it got spent and no actual follow-up, and it didn't hit anybody. So King's Gambit, it looked like they had the right idea, you know, trying to find a fast engagement, but it was just resources spent for no productivity.
I mean, we have to assume something like Maiev had considered going in, dropping Warden's Cage. Maybe that was the call. Then Maiev realized that they were backing up already, so it didn't come out. I don't know, because that Apocalypse just didn't look like intentional. It was weird, like, and we haven't seen that yet in this series.
That's true. They've been on point so far, but No Tomorrow, they pick up this next Punisher, pushing top lane. It's Frozen Punisher, of course, so I know you're all chilly. Picking up another fort, level 13 advantage, so a lot of momentum on the side of No Tomorrow at this point. And they didn't even really get the big usage out of their heroics. That was mainly just the Equinox show. Wrath popped. The shields from Tassadar were fantastic, allowing Sonya to just spin constantly and do so much damage to Droplets on that Maiev. We were talking about Sonya as being a better response to Maiev in comparison to Blaze, and we're seeing it right here.
Okay, Umbral does actually just barely get the pull, but Equinox is going to be A-okay. Yeah, it's been interesting because Equinox has basically been getting whatever he wants. He's sitting on these points. He's actually just focusing and collecting the progress for his team on that almost exclusively, while they use ETC to control space, Pepper, and I don't know, they're just not willing to look for that, but I think part of that is just the consistent threat for Mosh Pit, right? Like, it makes it really difficult to confidently dive onto anyone.
And I really do think that us talking about this matchup is very important, because if King's Gambit can find kills onto this Sonya, there's really nothing that they can't do at that point. They can push into the team fights. Jeshurte not going to be enough of a backline to really stop the advance of King's Gambit, but No Tomorrow know that too, and they're playing so well. Jin is basically protecting Equinox as the hyper carry, and they're playing the Sonya composition so very well. I personally, and I'm so glad you brought it up, like, I'm so glad we're seeing the ETC over the Johanna, you know? It's working so well.
Very well. And it's a great adaptation. At first, we were a little bit like, well, this is kind of weird when you think about the safety net that exists from Johanna, but she doesn't provide that same kind of threat that Jin is constantly just having. He's not even moshing. You don't have to. You just have to have the opportunity to mosh that can force your enemy team to play completely differently versus what a Johanna would be doing.
Yep, keep it in your pocket. Everybody likes a rock star, right?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Well, this is the window where they are at the same talent tier, 15 to 13. And, you know, they're a little bit anxious to find a fight, but this is also a team that is also not worried about fighting down talent here, from what we learned earlier, fighting over a boss without level 10. And right now, they're just sticking together as a group for the most part, as Zergling is doing his best to soak for his team, which is essential. His top 4 will net them a lot of experience, that is essential, but still quite far behind are they.
Late game provides more opportunities for No Tomorrow to increase their survivability as well. Of course, at 13, you know, you got Malfurion with his Ice Block. There's the nullification for Tassadar. So if Sonya, again, this hyper carry, is getting you know, found by this Diablo, this Greymane, and this Maiev, then you can nullify one of those damage dealers and have an easier time escaping that. So the survivability from No Tomorrow amplified as time progresses. But you know, late game Greymane.
That's a big point, though. Like, I mean, it's could become, yeah, late game Greymane's great and all with Hunter's Blunderbuss when that comes into play.
Yeah.
And I think that, of course, will be an asset that we see utilized, assuming they get there. But 16 still a ways off. We do have the next shrine up at 20 seconds and Fallen Shaman being cleaned up. This is the first time we're going to see that Merc Camp value favoring the side of No Tomorrow.
King's Gambit really need to find level 16 here before this next objective. They really they can't afford to lose another Punisher at this point. It looks like it's going to be quite easy for No Tomorrow to just step up onto this shrine right now, clear very fast. They have so much wave clear. The Q from Hanzo, the Whirlwind from Equinox here on the Sonya, just lots of wave clear for No Tomorrow. And King's Gambit are feeling frustrated. They need to get 16, but they can't get it.
Yep, but I'm actually quite pleased to see them this time not just YOLO fight, right? Yep. We've seen a lot of that where they're just like, whatever, we're gonna fight now because otherwise they get the objective. Sometimes you just have to like cut your losses, deal with it, look for the defense after. They have good tools in terms of, you know, just Greymane having solid DPS and that safe front line to deal with it. It's not like there's gonna be a Stukov silencing the entire space, denying them the ability to even look at the Punisher.
That's true. But I really do think right now is King's Gambit's time into this game. They are going to look for a fight, not just on the Punisher. You know, they have the Greymane who can sit on the Punisher once it jumps in, but this team is one of those teams that looks for aggressive plays. We'll see if they find it, defending their keep here.
Punisher is jumping in, perfectly baited in by Diesel so they can start the focus. And that's what they're doing, about half HP left on it. The keep is going to take a lot of damage in this situation. Jet Propulsion has already been cast, but a lot of this comes down to, can Diablo get those big plays? He has the double Shadow Charge value with Devastating Charge. That percentage damage can really add up. Keep has been started, but they start the Apocalypse engage. Power Slide forward from Jhin actually connects on it. They get the Umbral. They really want to try to end Jhin here. Greymane going forward. Bunkers are dropped, and they confirm the kill. Not quite enough there with the Warden's Cage, but Tomster getting the heals. Ice Block has already been cast. Shadow Charge onto Jet. Big damage in the back with the Ancestral healing them up. Itobi now has the Wolf form to back away. Equinox in the front, but Droplets finds a big tether onto Jet, but no follow-up once again. Archon has expired. Jet Propulsion onto, and Greymane is going, and Jet will end up dying. That means Equinox is deep and all alone. That's going to be a triple and a fantastic defense. You said it's their time to do it, and this is a great play here on the side of King's Gambit.
That was fantastic from King's Gambit. They actually do so much damage to the Protector while it's still trying to take out the wall, or while the rest of No Tomorrow are trying to take out the wall. King's Gambit, they play the pace of that fight so very well, dodging mystical spears, dodging all types of abilities from No Tomorrow. They get the 3 kills that they're looking for, and now, ladies and gentlemen, King's Gambit are very much in this game, taking this bottom side fort, looking at probably picking up a camp off of this. Huge swing in momentum for King's Gambit.
And this is when Diablo is like so ridiculously threatening. You can Shadow Charge, flip Shadow Charge, and that just gives them so many opportunities to just kill anyone and pretty much any scenario. The walls are great for Devastating, only has 1 stack of that so far. Obviously, he wants to build that up. Obviously, he wants to have that, I'm just going to explode Sonya literally in one combo kind of feel. But the damage is done. They've caught up in experience, they kept the keep alive, and the game is now dead even.
And of course, you know, after the level 16 point here, you've got an auto-attack focused Greymane. We were talking about the difficulties of closing out kills onto this Sonya, but now, you know, you've got Executioner there. You have the constant slows from the oil onto the Sonya too, so a lot more damage coming out from this Greymane.
Yeah, that's huge. You're right.
And
Executioner, I mean, Earthgrasp too, after Diablo Shadow Charge. There's so many different things that just compile and make this level 16 insane. Like, that's a power spike.
Camp focus now for both of these teams. No Tomorrow, they're clearing out bottom lane. King's Gambit pushing in mid, likely going to go onto their Fallen Shaman. No invasions here, not willing to fight at this point. Just clear top, take your camps, look to set up the map in your advantage for the next shrine.
It is important to point out that we have yet to see a Punisher go to the side of King's Gambit in this game. The first one was 37-40, very close, and after that it's just been in control for No Tomorrow. So 19 actually going to be reached first, it looks here, on the side of King's Gambit for the first time, now taking the lead in experience. And, well, we're going to have to see what this late game looks like because anything can happen.
All right. Both these teams just positioning mid, top. Looks like Blaze there. Zergling picking up the Khazra camp, so King's Gambit will have the advantage in the mid lane, but it's nothing crazy. You know, no forts down in mid for either of these teams at this point. Just a lot of posturing topside. Equinox spinning to win on that shrine right now. Neither team's level 20. Both of them want it, though.
If this is a long fight, the Khazra will become an issue. They get the power slide in. Shadow charge over. Damage onto Jin. They're focusing onto Jin. The throw for the throw is not enough. He pops Mosh Pit, but he goes down. Gilnean Cocktail finding the kill. We do see Diesel stepping forward. Bunker. Great value here. The Ancestral going to keep droplets healthy to move in. The cleanse is there for Jay, but the Shadow charge forward onto Tomster. We do see Blaze trying to stick onto that Malfurion, but now he's all alone. No Bunker available. The Side Storm is just not going to be enough damage here. 4v5, but low health bars on the side of King's Gambit. They need to kind of recuperate here, and that's a slow heal, hard task for Rhaegar to heal up.
Yes, it absolutely is. No Ancestral, as you said. Equinox is in the thick of things, but Diesel's in a lot of trouble. Equinox healing himself so much.
The totem goes down. They quickly get it down with the Psystorm of Tassadar. Diesel is incredibly low, and so is the member of Kevin. Zergling hit by the Ancient Spear. The poison might be enough. Oh, the shield's coming through from that lightning shield. They have to tap the well and re-engage. Already 15 picked up. This is so close, and ETC's already back almost up.
He's up in 8 seconds here. Still has that Mosh Pit available. Level 20s now for both of these teams. Huge advantage for No Tomorrow. And this Sonya is so difficult to deal with. No Tomorrow recognize the fact that this is a very narrow window for King's Gambit to find and engage, and they back off. This is very mature of them. They're just waiting for Jin at this point on the ETC to step in, and then they will look for this engage.
Khazra literally have the perfect position to not quite step in the tower. Once they clear that wave, they will quickly burn through the mid fort, compiling a nice camp with them to push into the mid lane. So that's another win here. Shadow charge onto Equinox. He does have the flip, not casting it quite yet. We do see the bunker being dropped here. Mosh Pit still a big threat. Dropping in his Zergling. Has to get away from this. Heals coming through from Rhaegar. Droplets now the focal point. They're looking for him. Jet Propulsion used. The arrow hitting 4 members, however, and Zergling goes down. That's going to be a double. It may be a triple as they are marching on forward. The damage from Jay is too much. Beautiful Ancient Spirit, but the Ancestral keeps Kevin alive. That is essential for this defense.
That is 3 dead. Diablo on his way back, so no souls. He is squishier at this point, but at least you have the numbers. 3 alive now for King's Gambit. Another objective going over to No Tomorrow, and this Sonya is proving to be such a threat and so hard to kill.
Equinox playing like a monster in this game. Yes, those Khazra are doing wonders, but this top keep going to be nigh impossible to save. 30 seconds on the 2 heroes of Vaev and Blaze, so they just kind of have to posture safely, but at least they have Greymane to try to race in this defense. This keep is going down, but this is an attempt for a game-winning push.
And this can very well be it. King's Gambit need to find a very aggressive play. They need to get kills, but it's going to be so difficult. Equinox, so much damage on the Sonya as well. The 60,000+. Jay Schritt is found, but manages to jump over the wall.
On 2 members! That's 2 out of 3. Just out of commission. This core is dropping so fast, and No Tomorrow, which had control most of the game, are going to tie up the series, bringing us to game number 7.
Holy cow. I thought that this could potentially go to a game number 7, and ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing it here in the flesh. And No Tomorrow, man, they deserved that one. Like, Equinox played it so patiently and so well. You know, there's a few missteps here and there, mainly in the bottom side push, but No Tomorrow, they come up, 1 more game to go.
Maybe the pressure is getting in there. We saw, you know, that one weird apocalypse earlier. We saw a lot of attempts where the Shadow Charge was going at Equinox, but then the focus would go somewhere else. Right? It's like, are you guys trying to kill Equinox, or are you trying to just keep Equinox away? Like what? And honestly, like they weren't getting those snap kills that we're used to seeing out of this team. Part of that probably due to the draft that we had from No Tomorrow.
Yeah, it was actually hugely prevalent in the top fight there. King's Gambit actually managed to get a kill, and they were up in numbers. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then they were diving past the Sonya when Sonya was isolated, you know, just doing so much damage to Toby, doing damage to Kevin on the backside of the fight. And I think that could have been a pretty realistic condition where you just turn onto the Sonya and look for a second kill. Sonya's not one of those heroes that can very easily get out of an engagement like that. You know, once she's in, she's in. So I think that could have very well been a condition for King's Gambit, but not quite able to find it.
It's also a lot of just Blaze sitting on top of Malfurion, trying to pressure, sitting on top of Dishrite, trying to pressure. And like the chance of Blaze getting that kill is pretty low. Yeah. He can get away with it, right? Because he has a self-sustain. It was interesting. It was like a different approach than what we were seeing earlier, and obviously No Tomorrow was able to edge it out, bring us to Game 7. Guys, we're going to take one final commercial break. When we return, we'll find out our winner of this Crucible.